Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suavelous day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence to pay.
Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled, Dr. Brother Suave.
Divine light give you double.
Greetings. This is Dr. Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, creator, and your divine social therapist and host of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. Listen, I am so excited today. As you see, my energy is at a higher level than it was last week. I had a very, very eventful week last week. I celebrated my 55th birthday. I've been traveling across the country, just really enjoying it, spending time with family, business, my sons. I'm just really enjoying this opportunity to enjoy this one life. That's why every week I just thank God for another day getting right. Thank God for waking me up with my health, life, and strength. And I just thank God for allowing me to see a day I never seen before. So it's definitely a blessing. So again, I thank God for this allowing me to see another year around this planet. So again, my mantra, I'm always talking about relationships and the sense of building relationships, establishing relationships, and always not taking people for granted and opportunities for granted. But my mantra is talking everything from a social, spiritual, and clinical perspective. And so tonight we're going to be talking about different subject matters dealing with from a social, spiritual, and clinical perspective. But today's guest is incredible how we met. So here, everyone knows I love to cook. And so I'm around and I think it was a grocery store. And I was just trying to find a particular ingredient and I could not find it because I was just trying to navigate through it. And I just happened, I'm extrovert. So I just say, hey, listen, could you help me find this? The person was completely nice, very forward and just, hey, yes. And I found my product. So I said something that triggered them. And guess what? We was in the same profession, both in the mental health profession, both were life coaches and both was into media. And I'm like, wow. So I think we exchanged numbers to, probably connect later dealing with some business or property opportunities to do a show together. Now, guess what? This was 2 years ago. And here it is, April 6, 2022. And we are having a show today. It's such a blessing. So again, this is why it's so important to just be polite, represent yourself in a way, and also be mindful of your brand and how you carry yourself publicly and in private. And so how I am in public is the same way I am in private. I am talkative, I'm an extrovert, and I just love people. So tonight's guest, again, a brilliant person. They are a certified life coach. They have a PhD in psychology. Their life mission is to help people through the barriers of preventing them from living the life they desire and also deserve. Throughout their career, they have helped people and clients effectively address and solve life's challenges through a collaboration and personalized coaching program, assisting them in achieving their short and long-term goals. In addition to being a life coach, this individual is a national best-selling author of 8 books. Wow, we got a little celebrity on our hands tonight. She also is a media expert who has been featured on TV One's true crime documentary, For My Man. This is a highly sought-after motivational speaker and has been a keynote on numerous conferences and events. She has been inducted into the Who's Who in Black Atlanta and appeared in such publications as The Morgan, Booking Matters, and Awareness magazines. So without further ado, let's welcome the Suave amazing, the Suave-tastic, and the Suave credible and wonderful Dr. Dwan Abrams.
Thank you. My goodness. After all that, I'm like, wow, who's he talking about?
Welcome. Thank you so much. I am so honored, Dr. Dwan. I am
Thank
so
you.
honored. You have no idea. I'm so honored.
I
Man,
appreciate that. And I'm honored to be here. I mean, really, I am. I was looking forward to this.
yes. I mean, again, this is so important. When we out there, we represent ourselves. We try to build connections because you never know. See, one of the things I've learned in my life is to always not make anybody feel like I'm using them. So I
Right.
always touch base with them because I don't take anybody for granted. I don't take this life
Hmm.
for granted. I don't take these opportunities for granted. And I don't take people, friends, and people I love and respect for granted. So I'm
Right.
always checking on people, seeing how they do. So whenever I may need them,
Hmm.
the way it works for me and how God always blesses me,
Hmm.
always there for me. They stand in the pain. And I'm so
Yes.
appreciative.
Thank
So listen,
you.
let me just shut up and stop talking and tell. I want the wonderful Dr. Dwan to tell these people about you. Give them a little background on you.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, there's a lot. I mean, I was a military brat growing up, so
Uh-oh.
we lived in a lot of places. So as far as just wanting roots somewhere, that was a big deal to me because when you're a military brat, your parents are moving like every 3 to 4 years. If you stayed somewhere for 4 years, you're like, wow, we've been here 4 years. But it was very frequent, and
Hmm.
so I really learned to value relationships with people. And I really learned that, like what you said, you don't take people for granted. You don't, take advantage of anybody or do anything like that. And that you just treat people like human beings and
Yes.
just really love people from an authentic place. That's what I believe in. And so I've traveled a lot. I've seen a lot of places. I mean, I lived abroad as a young girl, and I've lived just lots of places. But moving fast forward, one day after my 18th birthday, literally
Hmm.
one day, I joined the Air Force. Like I turned
Oh,
18, had a party, and next day, adios, I'm in the military.
what?
Yes, that was my parents' reaction too, especially my dad. He was like, wait, what? What just happened here? You know, I did. And so because the reason behind it was because I've
Yes.
always kind of been an outside of the box thinker. I was like, if all of my friends are going straight to college and I go straight to college, what's the difference when we're out there in the competitive job market looking for
Hmm.
things? So I had to do something a little bit different. So I still went to college, but I just
Yes.
had the military on my resume. So at the end of the 4 years, instead of just graduating with a bachelor's degree, I got out of the military. I had my first 3 years of college already under my belt. I just went to college for one more year and got a bachelor's degree. And that's how that worked out. So I literally was like, I got two great things. And the benefit of being in the military has really just, it's been amazing. Even the things I have, even now, opportunities and benefits because of it. So I think that was one of the better decisions I've ever made.
Wow. Hi, thank you, Brandy. How you doing? Thank you for supporting. Listen, let me tell you something. Listen, you guys, you never know. They say you never know about the people you interact with. Dr. Dwan, do you know we have a similar background?
Are you serious?
Yes, I
I
was
mean, I
in.
knew we were parallel before, but okay, tell
Yes,
me. You didn't
I
tell me
was.
this before.
I was in the Marine Corps while going to school at the same time.
Get out.
Yes,
All righty.
going to college.
Yeah, so you were a jarhead. That's the
What?
a jarhead. That's what they call
Yeah,
the Marines.
yeah.
We're a
Oh,
jarhead.
yes. A jarhead. Yeah, that's
Yes.
incredible. I mean, I never
Wow.
knew that about you, and you never knew that about me. But again,
Exactly.
and you remember in my introduction, I was saying, similar,
Yes.
our mental health profession, life
That's
coaching,
right.
and media, and
Yep.
here we are, both were in college and in the military at the same time.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Wow, look at that. I mean,
See,
there's little kindred spirits going on here. So everything's by
absolutely.
divine. So
Yes.
definitely.
I mean, again, these things are way beyond our understanding. We don't
Right.
know why you connect to people
Hmm.
and that you at the right place at the right time. And I always
Absolutely.
believe that when people cultivate and embrace with like-minded people, is always some mutual betterment. And I just
Definitely.
believe that. And
Yes.
I'm so happy. So, man, I'm just shocked. I'm trying to stay focused because, like, how are all these things
I
that we had in
know.
common?
And then
And
even just random, but you
I
know
think,
what? Nothing is random. Nothing is just, nothing happens by happenstance. Everything has a purpose, and you just don't always know at that moment, but everything has a purpose.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Dr. Dwan, so again, my philosophy is I look at everything from a social, spiritual, and clinical perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And that's how I operate because
Mm-hmm.
I believe in balance.
Right.
I have these suave philosophies
Mm-hmm.
of changing, creating my own words, creating my own suave philosophy, creating my
Mm-hmm.
own language. And so when I think about things, I come up with these things. So you know how people always say nobody's perfect.
Right.
And in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
my own suave philosophy is that I see more perfect people than I see imperfect people. And
Oh, I
so
love
an
that.
example of what I look at in terms of perfection is like my hands. I think they're ugly. They will never win a hand model contest. But guess what? In my opinion, they're perfect. You know why?
Yes.
Because if I ask myself or anybody, I say, how many fingers does it take to make a perfect hand? 5 fingers.
5 fingers.
I have all 5 fingers.
There
So I
you
can do
go.
anything anybody else can.
That's
But guess what?
right.
But these fingers
Mm-hmm.
represent something that's vital in terms of
Mm-hmm.
our existence. And
Yes.
this thumb is going to represent shelter. This finger is going to represent transportation.
Mm-hmm.
This finger is going to represent uh, a career, a
Mm-hmm.
profession, a vocation. This finger is going to represent money.
Mm-hmm.
And this finger is going to represent food. I didn't say I had the best and biggest house. I didn't say I had the best and nicest car. I didn't say I had the best profession. I didn't say I had the most money, and I didn't say I had the best food. But guess what? I have everything that is essential that I can survive, and anybody, rich, poor, indifferent, has. So
That's
I look at
right.
that as perfect. It's just like the baby. When they do the
Yes.
checklist, they didn't say if the baby was dark, light, skinny, heavy.
That's
They
right.
just sit
That's
there and they do
right.
a checklist, say this is a perfect job because they have
Oh,
everything
yes.
essential that
Yes.
they can survive. And so I come up with my own suave philosophy. And sometimes
I
when
love
something is
that.
different and a new way of presenting it, people are apprehensive. They reject it. But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? One thing I know, I
Mm-hmm.
tap into my discernment and I know what I know. And so for some
Yes.
reason, I knew 2 years ago that we was going to connect in some form or fashion and do it.
Yes. You
And,
did.
and,
You
and it
did.
has happened on April 6, 2020.
That
I
was
mean,
really fascinating what you said. That was totally mind boggling what you just said. That was just incredible. And it's so funny. And when you were talking about like creating your own words and doing all this, I said, he is not going to believe me when I tell you this. But if you ever meet my mom, she will tell you this. This is 100% true. When I was a little kid, I used to make up words for the dictionary. I'm not
what?
kidding. I promise you, I literally used to make up words for the dictionary. I was a wordsmith as a little kid. I was just like, just adding stuff. And my mom tells that story to people. She's like, you've always been like, I figured you'd have to do something with words because you literally would make them up. So when you said that, I'm like, wow, we are really, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the female version of you and you're the male version of me or what's going on here, but they're really in sync.
Wow. I mean, here's
Yes,
another example of where this is so random, but
right.
then it's not,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. Goodness,
So
what
listen,
so like what would be the word if it's not random, it's like divinely orchestrated or something. So if it's not a random thing, it's like it's so random, it just seems like it's like a calculated thing. Like it was
yeah.
so random, it
Well,
just had to be perfect, right?
I think in my swaptionary, it would be swaptaneous.
There we go. I like that. Okay, good. Good one. And happy belated birthday for the
Thank
what
you.
40 for the 15th, like plus 15 years, but like turning 40 15 more
You know
times or
what?
whatever. Okay.
Don't let me have to say, like I said, don't judge me. That's the story I'm giving. That's the story I'm sticking
That
with.
is
I would
so
tell people, don't let
funny.
me have to unfriend y'all. Out there, hey, go. This is let me be great. Let me be great on
Right.
my 40th
I love that.
for
That
the
was so
15th,
funny.
16th time.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Let me
Well,
be
you
great
wear
on
it
my day.
well. You wear it well, so that's a good
Thank you so
thing.
much.
Yes.
Yes. So listen, we're gonna continue, but right now we're just gonna go into some station identifications, and we'll be right back with social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. Suave afternoon, suave afternoon, suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave. your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suave day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence to pay.
Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing suave.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brandy the Disconnector, wife, show host, entrepreneur, investor, and ICS certified life coach, here to tell you that I'm on NPN TV, the network that is by us and for us. Lock in and let's get it.
We're back with Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave and our very special guest, Dr. Dwan Abrams. Before we left on station identification, we were just talking about, kindred spirits and learning and just being creative. And so that triggered me while we was on a break to think about something I want to present it to you. So okay. You know how when you take time to invest in yourself, and we as life coaches know the benefits of that, self-care, definitely. Self-love, self-worth, and trying to be motivation, inspirational to people and try to inspire them.
Right.
But we put a lot of work into ourselves and investing in ourselves. Yes. And I thought, and I feel and believe that that is a benefit in terms of our personal growth and development and how we go to other levels. Mm-hmm. And but I realized that the same amount of time that we put in ourselves to in terms of trying to reach greatness, a lot of people put so much time in media and social media and stuff that's just so counterproductive. And I think, believe it or not, it has a physiological impact or a psychological and a psychiatric impact on us. So my question to you, with everything going on in the world, should you think we should limit all the news that we watch and the social media that we engage in and then take? I just wanted to get your perspective on that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a great question. Basically, when it comes down to the news, you have to take it in bits and pieces. And because it's so easy to get inundated with everything that's going on in the world around us. When you think about the war in Ukraine, you think about, the pandemic and so many other things. When you turn on the news, it is just the floodgates of badness, negativity that's coming your way. So what I recommend to people is limit that intake of the news. First of all, you don't have to watch it just because it comes on. You can, it actually has a lessening effect if you choose to read your news, because then you're choosing it and you're not getting all the visuals and hearing everything. You actually can pick and choose what you want to know about. And it's better to read the news than it is to watch the news. And watching the news, it can just transform your whole mood. If you're watching something and you're hearing about accidents or someone killed someone, shot someone, did whatever, and then you're looking at this and you find yourself feeling sad and down about it, and you're like, oh my goodness, and it can ruin your whole mood and make you question everything. Well, what is the world coming to? What is the point? Because I watch the news and there are times when I'm just everything's crazy. The times we're living in, it's just crazy. So what I would just simply encourage people to do with that is definitely control the media and stop letting the media program us with what it wants us to know and controlling our moods and, everything that we discuss and so forth. Go ahead and pick what you want to listen to in terms of what you want to know about. If you want to know about what's going on in the world, you can take news headings and know what's going on in the world. Literally just read a headline and that's pretty much good to go. Or you can choose to read a little deeper for something that's of interest to you, but I would not get bogged down with actually physically watching the news, because it's not a good thing for people, period. It's just not healthy.
Yes.
The other part of that
Mm-hmm.
that you asked about was social media. Oh my goodness, social media. There's so much I could say about that. It can be used for good, but boy, it can be used for just the evils of life. Like when it comes to social media, if people gauge their own lives based on the parameter that social media said, we would just think we had nothing to be happy and excited about. If every time you're looking at everybody on social media, they got this perfect family, they're driving these gorgeous luxurious cars, and everybody's body is just snatched to the gods, and all of this, and you're just like, this stuff is just not even attainable. But what I would encourage people to really look at is that what you see isn't real. You're getting something programmed that they want you to see in that moment to create a picture that's an illusion. Okay, you already know that if you are married to someone and you've got 3 kids, you are, and they're little, they're at different stages doing different things, and you guys are all dressed in some white outfit, and everybody looks picture perfect. The kids are happy, the hubby's smiling, he's calling you the queen, doing this, that, and the third. And then, you could think, wow, I want that. I want that. But what the people don't tell you is that husband and wives disagree, they argue, they have problems. Every couple has problems. Nobody's perfect. Even the healthiest relationships still have issues. Okay, so let's just be clear on that. That
Yes.
nobody's relationship is picture perfect. The other part of that is with kids. Kids are so unpredictable, but kids are also stressful. Okay, so if you go somewhere, I will never forget the first time I took my daughter to the mall. I would see all
Okay.
these people with pictures and so forth, looking like everything was wonderful. She was a little girl. She was a toddler. I took her to the mall for the first time. She wet her diaper so much it literally exploded in her carrot, like her little stroller. And I was just like, I wasn't expecting that, because it didn't. And she cried. She was temperamental. She got, she was hungry. She was whatever she was, and she just wasn't having it. You don't see the parts of the fussy baby. You don't see the parts of, when the mom is frustrated and can't get the baby to stop crying. You're like, what's going on here? Things are not perfect. And so social media is a big lie, because when you're looking at these women with all these similar body types, I can already tell you that the majority of them have had plastic surgery to achieve that. So if you're not willing to go underneath the knife and endure all that pain and all of that, because another thing that people don't even tell you, you see these girls at the after result with these amazing bodies, with these Brazilian butt lifts, they got the tummy tuck, they've gone to Miami, or they've gone to the Dominican Republic, and but what they don't tell you is when they get infections and they're about to possibly lose something, or whatever the case might be, or their healing process was extremely painful. I hear that a lot from people, like felt like they got hit by a truck.
Yes.
Because the recovery period is it's just terrible. But you don't see that. You don't see them, crying and, can't use the bathroom and doing all this other kind of stuff. But they'll put those pictures up, after everything's settled. And then now it's like, oh my gosh, these girls got these bodies to die for, and they almost did die for them. So what I would encourage people to do is, when you look at social media, take it with a grain of salt. There are no couples goals. There are no, when people talk about the Black excellence for love, Black love, all this, that, and the third, love is love. Okay. No matter if it is a Black couple, white couple, Hispanic couple, Asian couple, and everybody encounters issues. So your relationship should not be compared to somebody who just, oh, my man just bought me this car, when the guy might not even have a job, probably doesn't even have good credit, and she bought the car and just put a bow on it and wants you to believe that this guy bought her a car, or they're leasing cars, or they're living above their means, or, all kinds of things we hear about later. There are stories all the time. Like there was this couple that appeared to be totally perfect on social media with their kids, and like they had this big heart and everything. Come to find out, they were abusing these children. They were neglecting these children. And I believe that the only reason we even heard about it was because at some point along the way, somebody got killed or something. It was like either the husband and wife, like either they killed themselves and the kids, or something weird happened. But the point that I'm making is, don't judge your life by other people's quote unquote standards, because you don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. There are, just like we learned with the young lady who went on the road trip with her boyfriend, and she was a social media influencer. And when she went missing, everybody's looking for her, and it brought awareness like, oh, okay, so if it's a woman of color, we don't know about them. But this one girl, we see her all over everything. And the police pulled them over and saw her crying and everything. And we're just like, all they did was separate them for the night, then come back and, he murders her and comes back home. And it's like, well, where is she? And then he ends up going into the woods somewhere and commits suicide. But this was them documenting their road trip together. On social media, they're showing you all the beautiful places they're going, that they're traveling to. But you didn't even know that this girl was a victim of domestic violence, and then ultimately her death. So I share that to just really caution people with looking at your own existence and thinking is not enough, or that is not good enough because, of something else, judging your relationship or your person, your spouse, your mate, whatever, on something that is really unfair, because you're only getting a small glimpse into what's really happening.
Wow. Incredible. I have a whole bunch of questions I want to ask you. So first of all, thank you, Brandy. Brandy was saying that she read the news to learn how to move for the rest of the day.
There you go. Right. Just something like that.
So at that point, because she loved your suggestions.
Thank you.
And again, I was thinking about that because let me tell you something. And this is just my way of doing things. And it's incredible that the suggestions that you just made recommendations. I've been doing that for years. I love football.
Yes.
But for at least 15 to 20 years, it took too much of my time away from my goals and things I wanted to achieve.
Right.
So all I would do was read about who won.
There you go. Exactly.
And that's, remember, it's the bottom line. So the bottom line is my team won or my team lost.
Yes. That's it.
And that was important to me. Sometimes, because time is the one thing we can't replace.
Absolutely.
So I always knew about self-love. I've been promoting self-love since 1989, selling my t-shirts, self-love since 1989. I think I was ahead of the game or whatever.
Definitely.
But the thing is, I knew the importance of investing in me. So when I was talking about like this thing, I was talking about, I'm proud of you, black man. I was always able to say that, but it just, I guess. And so I want these people to be able to say, I was always proud of myself because I always did things that was in the best interest of me and my future. So therefore, if I invest in me, I can be able to help others. You know how I always say, how can you love people when you don't love yourself? And I always was loving myself, and people interpreted my confidence or my suavidence as arrogance. And I'm like, no, because I know that I got one heart, one life, one soul, and I'm going to protect it at all costs. So I'm just happy that you said that, because I always would read and I got to the bottom line and know who won.
Exactly.
So, and when you were saying about these illusions, I realized that in today's society, we gravitate to so much negativity.
Exactly.
So I think it's to our detriment to watch that, because sometimes human behavior will gravitate to negative things and it takes over their psyche,
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that in the early days where they were saying how rap music, what's negative rap music was influencing people, because you can get in that mindset. You can start thinking about, fighting and killing. And the thing is, if you're not strong enough and look at it as just entertainment, it will take over you. And so this is why when we talk about from a social, spiritual, and clinical perspective, because we're talking about like picking up habits that you can't control, which is spiritual. And we're talking about social, when you connecting to these things and know it's counterproductive, and it just and clinical, when you just realize how it has a psychological impact on you. So I just thank you for that insight. And the last point I want to make is when you're saying we just seeing things. I remember when I first started life coaching, it wasn't even 400 of us in the whole world, and I remember that. Wow, because the mental health profession was so against life coaching, and not realizing a lot of mental health professionals are life coaches now. We're talking about years ago. And again, I said, when people something's new to somebody, they objective. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then once they get more information, they realize that
Yep.
the whole life coaching profession was from a
Mm-hmm.
lot of psychotherapists in the past.
Exactly.
You
That's so
know,
true.
and it's crazy.
Yes, that's
And
so true.
so when I remember life coaching and having a client, and I remember all the because I was dealing with their personal growth and development, their
Mm-hmm.
health, and their body imagery, and I realized that when they looked at, they felt better when they got to their final destination. But
Yep.
in between time, oh my God, when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
breast augmentation, you talk about the
Yes.
tummy tuck, the
Yep.
rehab process, just squatting
Mm-hmm.
to use the restroom, the constant
Yes.
gauzing, the bleeding. Yeah, they were like,
Yes.
hey, what you know about it? Because again, I was always doing women's studies and all that.
See?
And so, and I
Exactly.
knew that women invest in themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and so,
That's for sure.
yes. And so I was
Right.
like, hey, it's money in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so, and then I was like, wow, but it was a thing that you didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times, even though they say they love themselves, but they really wasn't
Yep.
had that real, genuine, authentic love for themselves because they felt they needed so much modification, to do,
Absolutely.
and even at the expense of putting their life in jeopardy.
Yes. And a perfect example of that is Cardi B. She's very clear that she's had a lot of plastic surgery, but one thing she said that I don't know if people even paid attention, she said how she started was she was dating a guy and he broke up with her for a girl with a big butt. And she said after that, she was determined that that would never happen to her again. So she went and got all of those illegal butt injections because a guy told her, like, left her for a girl with a bigger butt. And that was her insecurity.
You know
Started it
what?
all.
I cannot help it. I'm sorry if this is getting off topic,
Hmm.
but this is when it comes to both males and females lacking self-love. You remember the guys
Yep.
who put themselves in jeopardy, selling the drugs or doing anything to get a lady, and the lady's doing everything to
Hmm.
put their life in jeopardy to get a man. And at
Right.
the end of the day,
Hmm.
they got to start understanding the significance of self-love. And I think
Yes.
until people invest in themselves and start having a
Hmm.
more appreciation for themselves, I
Right.
think this whole thing would change. How you
Yes.
doing, Dr. Linder? Dwayne Linder, how you doing? Thank you for showing up. So this reminds me of a pastor.
Hmm.
Regardless, I always say, regardless of the messenger,
Hmm.
there is a message. So regardless of how they
Yes.
live their life or whatever, you have to get past that and understand emotional intelligence, understand how to be mature and listen to a message, not the messenger. So the message
Absolutely.
was from Eddie Long, and he was talking about a message called Delilah. And he was saying, you
I
laugh.
heard that sermon.
Yes.
I've heard that.
And that
Yes.
sermon was so
Yep.
powerful because he was saying, all you women doing
Hmm.
all this, and all that to do everything that you think to keep a man.
Yep.
And then this other lady, when you sit there saying she looking plain Jane, she's
Yep.
looking this and that. But he said she
I don't
did
want
something.
Delilah. I want you.
Yes. And
Yes.
he said, yes. She touched
Yep.
him. And
Hmm.
so it was something about understanding about self-love and
Yes.
carrying yourself and a presence about yourself. And we're attracted to people who love themselves, people who have their
Absolutely.
priorities in order. And at the end of the
Yes.
day, it's the core essence of who they are that's important to us. And it's funny
Yes.
how these social constructs of people
Hmm.
coming up with stories is not even true. And it
Yep.
becomes this, I guess, this doctrine that this is true when it's not.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's
No, I 100% agree with you. I mean, in fact, to piggyback on what you were saying about the Delilah sermon, Dion Cole, the comedian, he has a special, I think it's on Netflix or something that I was watching, and he talked about that, like how women, go through all of that. And he's like, but if I see you in like some sweats or something, that's the one that I'm trying to talk to. He was like, it's okay with all that other stuff, to look at or to take home for an evening. But he was like, but the relationship part, he was like, and if you just really think about it, you know, it's it speaks more about how you feel about yourself the more procedures you have done on yourself.
Yes.
If you really think about it, there's just so many things I could say. Like when I've met women who get some everything done. I mean, they're wearing, the lashes, the hair, got their noses done, got their teeth capped, got breast augmentation, tummy tucks, Brazilian butt lift, the whole nine. And then they're still looking for more stuff to do. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Yes.
Absolutely.
I can't remember the diagnosis. It's the same thing that Michael Jackson, he could always
Yep.
see a flaw in himself.
Right.
And and
Right.
and and one of the things, ladies, a lot of times you guys think we say this, but you really saying it and
Hmm.
saying, well, this is what we want. Let me tell you something.
Hmm.
We rather you just work out, be healthy, take care of yourself, love yourself. Because I'm gonna just tell you something.
Right.
And I hope I don't offend anybody.
Hmm.
I know I will, but I'm not worrying about pleasing everybody. I'm just telling you. And anybody who knows me, they know
Hmm.
I'm a straight shooter. So I'm definitely not trying to offend somebody because I've offended people all my life. But the truth is offensive, you know. And
Hmm.
so a lot of times I've seen people doing everything to look a certain way to
Hmm.
get that catch.
Yep.
But guess what? One of the biggest things to deflate somebody is to
Hmm.
have this perception in your head that it's like that, and then when
Yep.
everything comes out, you see those war wounds. Because
Mm.
at the end of the day,
Yes.
our skin keloids. You can
Yep.
see it because on the
Yep.
orbital, it's scar
Yeah.
tissues,
Yeah.
and you see it. It's there.
That's
It's
true.
obvious. Even with
Right.
the breast, I mean the tummy tuck's a new button. And if you have
Right.
do belly button, when you have a
Hmm.
particular type of skin, see those
Hmm.
professionals, those doctors not going to tell you this. You
Right.
got to know
Then you're
yourself,
stuck
and
with
this is what I'm
that.
saying. Love
Right.
yourself, but when you're so desperate, you
Hmm.
do certain things. Believe it or not, all that work, all that putting your life in jeopardy is sometimes just
Hmm.
counterproductive.
Right. And we know that to be true. I mean, 100%. Even K. Michelle, I don't know if you've seen her special that she has now. She actually has a series because with K. Michelle, she just transformed her body so much because she wasn't happy with herself. Like she was one of the women who would do the tummy tuck, the Brazilian, butt lifts, but she got the butt shots and it almost killed her because she was being injected with silicone and she didn't even realize like that this was bad and it was breaking up and I mean, she spent more time like trying to tend to her health and trying to get the stuff removed than
Yeah.
she did even trying to enjoy the body that she had paid for. And it was like,
Yes.
so now she's helping other women on a program to identify like surgery gone wrong and like how,
Yes. Those botched
that
surgeries.
showing, yeah, like showing the other side of it. And for her, she's like, she's still going through procedures. I mean, she's had numerous procedures and she still has like, stuff still left to do. But the point is, people don't realize that this stuff can really be deadly. And even
Deadly.
even the surgeries that you think are commonplace, stuff still can go wrong. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to bring this up, but God bless the dead. But Kanye West's mother is a perfect example of how, she didn't go get illegal butt shots, but she still went and had the plastic surgery. And we see how that turned out. Nothing is worth your life.
Yes.
It's not worth it.
And again, it just, and the perception that they have that we want that.
Right.
And the thing is like, no, I was okay. And the weird thing is you're doing everything to get that catch,
Yep.
but guys, we are shallow.
Yep.
So we'll sit there and thank you. And then in our head, like, whoa, man, I
Yep.
wasn't expect that. I was
Right.
thinking this was a certain way. And then the thing is, guys are
Hmm.
shallow.
Yep.
And you'll sit there and you didn't gave up your body. And
Yep.
then you feel like guilty and you feel bad. And then you build
Hmm.
resentment
Right.
towards, and then you have back to the psychological issues, the spiritual issues, and the
Absolutely.
social issues. And you're like, Dad, I done did all this. And
Hmm.
you may not tell nobody publicly, but
Hmm.
privately, you're like, Dad, why did I do this?
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you how your physical does not like it's not a substitute for your mind and your personality.
No, it
If
is
people
not.
worked on their brains and their personality, developing a great personality, you will see some women with some really attractive men that you're just like, wow, why is he with her or whatever? Because she got a personality that's out of this world. I
Yes.
mean, I remember listening to Angie Stone when she was like on a YouTube video and she was talking about Idris Elba tried to hit on her and she turned Idris Elba down. And she was like, people will look at me and think like, are you serious right now? She's like, yeah, but I got a bomb personality. She's like,
Yes.
she's like, I don't care what you say about it. She's like, I don't have to be the most beautiful. But one thing I do know is that I'm like real cool. You can hang out with me. You can talk to me. and men love it. And we know that's true because she had D'Angelo when he was like at the peak, when he's doing the
Yes.
how does it feel, and everybody's like, wait, what? D'Angelo, like, he was fine as all get out. And who was on his arm? He was with Angie Stone, gave her a
Yes.
baby and everything. So,
Yes.
so
We
there's
want
something.
character.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm saying. So character and personality are like everything. If you don't believe me, look at some of these young ladies who are social media influencers on Instagram, and they got everything hanging out. They're giving all the butt pics in the world and everything. But are they in any kind of committed relationship?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Yes.
Yeah, and one of the most beautiful, and believe me, I'm not targeting her because I think she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. But to go with what I'm saying about being a social media influencer, there's a young lady who's got a baby with Bow Wow and a baby with Future. She's drop dead gorgeous, but she's not. Neither one of them married her.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna just drop it right there.
Exactly.
I don't know her personally. I don't know what kind of personality she has or anything. But all I'm simply saying is, for a woman that looks like that, you would think that men would just be clamoring all over her and just ready to marry her or do anything.
Well, see, that's the thing. I can say from experience, being sort of tall, dark, and handsome, and suave and debonair, and keeping my swag on.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying it because I always like beautiful women, so it's never been an issue for me.
Right.
But people, I always met beautiful women, and a lot of times they didn't have character.
See, yeah, exactly.
And so so people say that, well, why you have this? Because I always cared about character. That's more important to me than anything. And that's an example of that was Denzel. Always been considered this stud, this beautiful man.
Yeah.
And I know Hollywood always say, well, goodness, he could have had, but
anybody.
Paula had character.
That part.
Even his son was sitting there saying, I'm not Denzel's son.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Because he recognized how brilliant his mother was. Denzel recognized his mother was brilliant. And those are the things. Same thing with Samuel Jackson. Richardson. See, this
I know
is
exactly
what we want, ladies. Yes. This we want character. You understand? Because you guys speaking for us, we can speak for ourselves. Right. We want character. Yes.
Absolutely.
When I talk about the 10 Commandments of intimacy, initial attraction is physical. Right. However, the very next coming is understanding that the spiritual part of who you are as a person.
Exactly.
Those things are important to us. And man.
Yes. I mean, I completely agree with you 100%. And I know exactly, because I have even said that before when they had announced like Samuel Jackson's anniversary and all of this, like how many years he's been with his wife. And I said the same thing. I was like, people just think, some people will say, oh, a man is only as good as his options, or like what he can afford. Like his options only come with if they don't have a clue.
That's why I say, who coming up with these philosophies?
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, I noticed that in the chat, someone had made the statement that men don't want to share their woman with like the world, like in the private parts or whatever. And I respect that because I get it. Because if you're, it's like there's something that can be pretty to look at, but eventually you want somebody who can give you a good conversation, somebody who can, spar with you intellectually, someone who can really, challenge you to grow and be a better version of yourself, not someone who's just, only consumed with what they look like. Because the truth of the matter is that beauty fades over time. Don't care how good you look in the beginning. Everybody that's old was once young. Let's just keep that in perspective.
We change. Our body changes.
Absolutely.
Some people age slower than others.
Right.
But some age faster. Because we've seen too many people in Hollywood that look so amazing, and then 15 years later You're like,
Right.
oh my God.
Can't even believe it's the same person. You're right.
Yes.
I've had that little, I guess you could call it a sticker shock. Sometimes when I see people, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, that's so and so. I have to go back and look at the back in the day picture because I'm just like, that can't be the same person. So it
Yes.
really does. I mean, and I'm talking about some of the most beautiful starlets, like people who back in the day were like the ultimate sex symbol, and then
Yes.
all of a sudden you look at them and they're like in their 60s or something, and you're just like, what happened?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you have to have something that's more. And what I always would tell people before anything is, you really like are in love with someone and really care about someone if something happened to them, and you would still be willing to take care of them, like in terms of like when LL Cool J's wife was battling cancer a few years ago, and he was like, I wouldn't have even considered leaving her at her most vulnerable moment when she would need me the most. Not only did that speak to his character, but it also lets you know that when you're in these relationships, anything can happen. Heaven forbid if like your arm candy had a massive heart attack, or, develop breast cancer, or just anything, anything can happen to alter the physical appearance. But what is it that keeps you there on a deeper level? I want someone that's going to love me and rock with me regardless of whether the fun bags are in perfect tack or whether something happens,
Yeah.
so that's what I would want.
Thank you. Wow.
Hmm.
I'm not going to expand because we just so much. So we're going to go right into a quick um, station identification, and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Goma Marie Conde. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified trauma counselor, and I am on NPN TV.
Hey, we're back. This is Dr. Brother Suave, your divine social therapist, and our wonderful guest, Dr. Dwan. Listen, I have a question. We've been just going and enjoying this dialogue. You know how it's so, I'm enjoying this experience. And
Me
so,
too.
man, I'm like, I got a million questions to ask, and I just can't seem to get to them because you're saying some powerful things. I
Thank
mean,
you.
and so I do. I'm just going to try to get to these. Hopefully, I can. We have about 18, 19 minutes left or less. I'm sorry, not even that. So I just want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
So do you have any suggestions on how to handle anxiety and depression during this pandemic? Because I noticed a lot of people been going through during this
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, it's really been very intense. Depression is up with people during the pandemic. A lot of people who didn't even really suffer from depression initially, they found themselves in the throes of it. So during this pandemic, what I would just have to say is try to get a routine as much as possible, because if you just kind of wake up with nothing to do during the day, it just kind of makes it difficult, even more difficult, because you kind of feel like you don't have any purpose or a plan. So even if you don't have to go out into the world, just have something structured to do with your day, whether it is, okay, I'm going to exercise for 30 minutes and then I'm eating my breakfast, and then whatever it is, just kind of give yourself something to do that. Get a schedule, get some kind of structure. Other thing is, I would encourage you to read books, like inspirational books, motivational books, things to just keep your spirit man fed. The other thing that I would definitely recommend is, if you are, don't inundate yourself with so much of the negative news and social media. Get off of those things. This is a great time to be creative. This is a great time that if you have a book that's in you that
Mm.
you've been talking about, you want
Ooh.
to write, sit down and write that book. Get off of Netflix and get off of all these other binge watching shows. They've already got their money. It's time for you to go and get yours. So get there and create your stuff. Maybe you can put a script or something, or a screenplay together, whatever it is, a book, whatever. Get that written. The other part that I would just say is, it's a good time to get your body in shape, because now, if we're in a pandemic, it's a great time. A lot of people are working from home, so get active, and it doesn't take a whole lot. I'm not talking about you have to go and be like muscle man at the gym, but at least walk. Like, I have like a walking path that I created in my house, and I have stairs, so I go up and down those for the cardio. Like, I will literally go up and down the stairs like 10 times, and that kind of thing, just to try to stay moving and just walk a path, put my little earphones in, listening to some, music,
Mm.
and just walk in the house, because I'm not a real outdoor person, and with the allergy season and all that. So, I would definitely encourage you to get moving. The other thing is talk about your feelings. If you feel lonely, if you feel sad, it's understandable, but get like some kind of network of support, whether you have to talk to friends that you trust, family members that you trust, or even a professional, whether it's a life coach, or, through your insurance at work or whatever, talk to a counselor. But there are so many things that
Yes,
are
Brandy.
available now. So the main thing is, don't feel as though you have to like suffer in silence. Like, talk to people and get it out. And I would also recommend that people journal, write
Mm.
down things, your thoughts, your aspirations, just whatever it is that you want to do. Journaling is very therapeutic, because you
Yes.
can write things that have already happened and help purge yourself of that. Or you can just write about the future to get yourself like encouraged and optimistic, get some goals and things of that nature. So those are the things I would recommend that people do during this time to kind of deal with, depression, anxiety, and so forth. And if you feel yourself being anxious, here's a tip, because I know that sometimes, people need medication, and sometimes they don't necessarily need it. They might just need some coping strategies and techniques, just depending on where they are with it. I would just say, learn how to be present. If
Yeah.
you feel yourself getting anxious, just remember, because it'll make you feel like all the air is being sucked out of the room, that you're about to lose your mind. Some people go and, they want to take their clothes off, and they just got to run around until the feeling passes.
Yes.
Just remember that you're okay. Just
Mm.
tell yourself you are okay, and just sit down and let your feet touch the floor. Just
Okay.
sit with your feet touching the floor, and that will help to ground you back, to remind you to be present. And also, too, you can just think of something else, do a paradigm shift. Like, if you're, feeling anxious, like somebody's not there, a lot of people have separation anxiety. You can try to, just talk to yourself with something to snap you out of it. Like, I can always get in the car and go drive to see that person, or I could get on a plane, or, or if the person's no longer here in the physical, it's okay to feel it. But you can also just, just tell yourself that you can't wallow in it. Just snap out of it, because they wouldn't want that for you. The person that's not here would not want you wallowing in it. So
Hmm.
think about it that way.
Okay. So I was listening to you when you was talking about like saying some positive affirmation that you're okay. Is
Hmm.
it okay, or is it could they like say positive affirmations like I was writing while you were saying, like,
Hmm.
you're suave-tastic, you're suave
Yes.
amazing, you're suave
Yes.
tabulous, you're suave
Yes.
credible, Have a little
Absolutely.
more flavor to it,
Yes,
getting a little
absolutely. Look at that.
swag
I
up in
love
there.
it. Okay, yes. All of that is just swab-tastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah, say whatever it is to snap you out of it. Like, hey, I'm okay. This
mm,
is, it's this will pass, or whatever you got to do. And if you're a worrisome type of person who worries about everything, you can
yes,
also snap yourself out of worrying by thinking about something good,
yes,
focusing on
absolutely.
something positive. You can't
Yes.
worry about something at the same time. Just
Mm,
look at yourself, and this is your example with the hand. Look at your hand and just think about how amazing that is.
mhm.
Like look at your hand and just think about how unique your hand is uniquely yours. Like if
Yes.
you just took a moment and looked at that, you can't help but marvel at the wonders and the joys of this world. Like, oh my goodness, like I'm in this and I'm unique to this. So
Yes.
things like that. Just talk positive to yourself
Yes.
and
And
just
that
lift your own self up, and
I
that will help
agree.
you with the worrying, and I will leave this right here. There's that the serenity prayer. If you're familiar
Mm,
with that, say that to
yes.
yourself. Whatever you can't control, it's like, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Difference.
And that's just it. I mean, that got me through basic training when I was in the Air Force. We were like, we said that every night.
Yes. Man, I want to address this, and it's
Brother
totally off
Suave, I
of what
can't
we've
hear
been
you.
talking about, but because you are in the media,
I
you
can't hear
know.
you.
Oh, you don't hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You
Right. I
cannot.
can't. I can't hear you.
I don't know why. I don't know. It's not on mute.
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything?
Sorry, I can't.
Uh oh. Oh man, I don't know what's going on because I can hear you. Yeah, you don't hear me? I can hear you. You check the mute button. Oh, ah. So it's okay. It's okay. Listen, I don't know what's happening. We're having some technical difficulties, but listen, this has been a mind blowing, thought provoking, eye opening experience where Dr. Dwan. Yes, I think everyone can hear me. It's
Oh,
just
so they're saying they
unfortunate.
can hear both of us. I just can't hear you.
Yes. And
Okay.
so unfortunately, the questions
Wait,
that I
do you
have
want me
for
to
you,
like hang up?
if you can, we got about 2 minutes. So
Let
yes,
me
we
see if
can
I can
carry it
do
over a little. Yes, that'll be good. So anyway, listen, as I told you guys, man, has been a wonderful experience with Dr. Dewan. I wanted to ask her a few more questions, and hopefully she can get back on. We can just overlay for about another 5 minutes, and because I had some questions I wanted to ask her so that she can share with you guys because she's in the media. Also, she's a best-selling author, and I just wanted her to get an opportunity to share information about her books. I wanted her to have an opportunity to promote her product, her book, and her services. And also, I want her to tell a little couple of stories about she's on TV ones for my man. I just wanted her to give a couple of scenarios about that and talk about it. And I'm excited to hear it myself because, again, I just learned a few things about her on tonight's broadcast. So, can you hear me?
Suave, I'm sure you're saying something amazing,
Yes. So it's okay.
but I can't hear a single bit of it. I'm so sorry.
It's
But I
okay.
will say that I have really enjoyed this a lot. And I hope that your listeners were able to take something positive out of all of this. And just know that help is available, that there are resources for anything they have going on. And just to remember to detach from all of the TV and the social media at times and just really limit it. Even if you just decide like that you just want to watch one TV program a day, like just watch a movie or watch an episode of something, but be productive in your day. Don't spend 8 hours watching TV and 1 hour to your dream or 30 minutes to your dream. That should be flipped. Like just get passionate about whatever your purpose is in this life because we only get the one. And even if we have others, this is the one we're in now. Okay, that's the that's the one. So just be mindful of that and appreciate. Find more time to have an attitude of gratitude every day. Just find something to be grateful for. If you woke up, that's a start. Okay, so that's what I would say.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Dwan. I am blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Namaste.
Yes. So it's okay. So
Thank
listen,
you.
again, thank you guys for showing up. This has been a wonderful experience. Again, I told you it was going to be a mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening experience. Unfortunately, we experienced some technical difficulties, but guess what? Always going to have the mindset that the bottle's half full. I know that you guys got something out of it. So this is Dr. Brother Suave signing out. And just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you, and I mean it. Bye-bye. Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suaveless day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence the pay. Okay.
I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled. Dr. Brother Suave,
Divine light give you double.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brandy the Disconnector, wife, show host, entrepreneur, investor, and ICS certified life coach, here to tell you that I'm on NPN TV, the network that is by us and for us. Lock in and let's get it.
Hello, my name is Goma Marie Conde. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified trauma counselor, and I am on NPN TV.
This program was made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, and from contributions to NPN TV from viewers like you. Thank you.